All right, everybody. Welcome to this video that is supposed to be watched in accompaniment with the very first mini technology project in my fall 2020 semester of Intro Stats. In short, these weekly projects will allow you to engage with the statistical content that we've been learning about in class, but you'll be able to engage with it on your own at home using some statistics programs. We might see a number of different programs over the course of the semester just to get you acquainted with a handful of them so you know what's out there and what you are likely to use in your future classes and even in your future career. But the biggest program that we will use, the most important program that we will use, is a program called R. Okay, so if I have this set up correctly, I should now be sharing my computer screen with you. And what I've done is I've literally just typed in the letter R into Google. And this is the first thing that comes up, the R project for statistical computing. I might not have said this already, but in addition to being very powerful, R is 100% free to use for everyone, which is one of the reasons why we love it so much. So here I'm in the landing page for R. I'll go over here to the left for download, and I'll click on this, CRAN, right, which stands for Comprehensive R Archive Network, Comprehensive R Archive Network. And so we're going to choose a location that's close to us. We are in the United States, and specifically reasonably close to Dallas. So I will click on this link to download it from that location. Now up here is where you might diverge, right? If you have a Linux machine, you can download it here. If you have a Mac, you can download it here. I have a Windows machine, so I will click here to download. And literally, I'm just going to click. I'm going to install R for the first time. We'll download R, or whatever the latest version is. At this moment, it's 4.0.2. I'll download that for Windows. We're going to let it download. We have about 5 seconds left. All right, great. And I'll go ahead and install this. Okay, it's trying to load right now. Just awkwardly fill in some time. It occurs to me, you might not actually be able to see my screen at the moment because you're still looking at the back window. So give me 1 second here. Okay, hopefully this is a little better. Now you should be able to see the whole screen, so not just the window behind it, but also the R setup. We will choose English as our installation language. General public license. We'll install R here. We will go ahead and just install everything. Sure thing. We'll accept some defaults. We'll install this under the name of R. I'll go ahead and create a desktop shortcut. Of course, you can choose whether or not to do that. Just keep all that the same. We've clicked next through everything, and now it is installing. This will take just a moment. And then when we're done, we will move on to RStudio. Okay, I cut out some of the recording there because there was a lot of awkward dead space while this loaded, but it is loading now. It is near the end. And as soon as this is done, so we are done installing R. All right, finish. And in fact, R should now be installed over here. Yeah, there it is. I love it. All right, so now that we've installed R, let's go ahead and install RStudio. To install RStudio, I'm just going to Google, or I'm going to search for RStudio. You can see here. I've gone ahead and just this first link here, RStudio. And much like before, I'm going to find the correct file file to download. I'm going to click through everything and I'm going to download it. So let's go to download. To choose our version, we're going to choose the free version. RStudio is also free. Download that. And again, we will choose our operating system. So this is a Windows computer. I will choose the Windows file. If you have an Apple computer, choose the Mac OS. If you have a Linux computer, choose the appropriate one below that. Choose RStudio here. The program will download, and once it is done downloading, I will start the installation. I'll see you there. Okay, RStudio has finished downloading, and I went ahead and opened the installation file. Now we're into RStudio setup. And just like before, going to click through, going to install it under RStudio, and now we will go ahead and actually install this. This will just take a few more minutes. So I'll cut the video ahead and I'll see you near the end. Okay, and we are done. We are good to go. RStudio has finished installing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open RStudio, not R, but RStudio, and I will orient you to what RStudio looks like, and then you're off to the races. So let's see. So I just went ahead and searched for RStudio. We have installed it already, so we can just open it. Oh, you know what? I apologize. Before I do this, let me speak briefly to the students who do not have a Windows system and do not have a Apple system. So if you are one of these students, you don't have Windows or Apple as your operating system, you might have a Linux system, in which case you saw there are options to install both R and RStudio for various Linux styles or flavors. It is possible that you have a computer such as a Chromebook that uses some other operating system in which you cannot install these third-party programs onto that. So if that is the case, if you cannot install these on your system and the option is still available to you, first of all, let me know if you fall into this camp. Send me an email, just give me a heads up. I'll know that we might have to find some workarounds, but those workarounds do exist. And in particular, I would love to introduce you to RStudio Cloud, which is just rstudio.cloud. This is a program that you can, I should say, this is like an online platform that looks and feels like RStudio. It is free to sign up for, and you should be able to sign up for it and use it for the majority of this semester. Again, if you fall into that category and you want to talk about this further, let's absolutely have that conversation. Start by sending me an email. Okay, now let's get into RStudio. Whether you have installed it yourself or you're on the RStudio Cloud. Sure, crash reports. Yes. Okay, so this is what RStudio initially looks like. Yours might look a little different because it looks like we have some data already pulled up here, possibly based on the last time that I had RStudio installed on my computer. So it's possible, even likely, that yours does not look like this, that yours looks like this. And so let's talk briefly about what this is. What you'll see here is, again, I said this is the nice way to view R. So even though it looks a little intimidating, this is actually the preferred way to view R through RStudio. What we have here on the left side of the screen, and what was previously in the lower left part of the screen, is what is called the R console. This is where you can type commands directly into R and get direct outputs. So you can type line by line individual codes. You see here, there's a little bit of text, but then we have this little sideways caret that indicates where our cursor currently is, right? So click on that to make sure that I'm typing there. Now, if I type anything, right? We can see that we're typing into the console there. If I type something incorrect, like this bunch of nonsense, I will get an error message, which is to be expected. And whenever you're learning a new computer language or a new computer program, you can expect to get a lot of error messages. So they're not necessarily bad, just know that we should expect them. So here's our error message. But if I type something that R knows how to interpret, it will give us an output. And one of the great things about R, at least initially, is that it works really well as a calculator, right? Just a basic calculator. So if I wanted to do 5 plus 8, I should say I'm hitting enter, right? I'm hitting enter here. So if I did 5 plus 8, I hit enter, and the output is 13. This number 1 to the side is indicating that there was one single output as an answer, and that answer was 13. So if I did 9 times, I'm doing the shift 8 for time, so 9 times 9, I would get 81, right? And we can go on from here. So, you know, your first technology activity is just to get comfortable typing things into R and getting valid outputs. So at this point, I'll turn you over to the PDF that was a part of the technology mini project. You'll see it's relatively straightforward, just typing things into R, getting outputs, learning how the user interface works. I should say, you know, I talked about this area here being the console where we type things in. There are other things happening on this screen. As you can see, there's this environment in the upper right, and then there are these different files, and it says plots and packages and things like that, all here in the lower right. We will talk about those in the future. So for now, you don't have to worry about it. Just type directly into this console here. Good luck. Let me know if you run into trouble or have any questions, and take care.